Bada-Bada. Bing.
Last time on Captain Carrot's epic Devlog.
It's over, White Vault. I have the high ground.
You underestimate my Boolean.
Don't try it.
Hi, that was me, right after I decided to turn the adventures of Captain Carrot into a full project. Let's just say I was, a little in over my head. We sometimes say or do such silly things when we're younger. There's an invincibility in those young days of ours where we think we can do anything, conquer everything. Maybe something like pulling off bell bottoms or learning the programming language Python in a night, or maybe, just maybe, it's trying to turn your game into something it was never meant to be. Maybe trying to give that AAA experience as a solo game developer, despite not even knowing what you were doing. I was so young and naive a year ago. And much like that tale of young Icarus, I flew too high, only to fall and die. Hey, that rhymed. Okay, not bad. This is the darker chapter of Captain Carrot, when it was a horrible metrovania. So much so that the game engine just couldn't allow it to continue and killed it itself. The point of these videos is to act as a diary of sorts about the development and design steps I underwent in the construction of the adventures of Captain Carrot. My mistakes, my lessons, everything. And I cannot do that properly without talking about the project's more darker chapters. And perhaps one of the darker chapters of myself as a game developer. The one that really made me consider just walking away from it all, and I'm glad I didn't. Don't leave just yet. There will be a happy ending at the end of this video. Pinky swear, kinda. With that being said, let's open up the vault. See what I did there? I'm just full of jokes today. Continuing the timeline for those who haven't been watching the videos before, someone from the stream offered to pay for a Nintendo dev kit if I were to make the adventures of Captain Carrot into a full project. To say the least, I was overwhelmed, excited, just excited. That week, I drew out idea after idea, creating NPCs, side stories, level designs, plotting out cute little abilities, cutscenes, all the while trying to shoehorn this project into the engine I was using, Pixel Game Maker MB. I began programming a in-game inventory system that would force the player to manually swap between objects. The best way I can explain it, let's say you're in the dungeon and you want to swap your battle axe for a crossbow. Instead of like a normal inventory, you just go into your UI and swap it like that. I thought it'd be interesting that you have to dump out your whole bag, pick up the crossbow, and then throw everything else in there. And I stand by it being a good idea. Just not for a cartoon action platformer. So I kept drawing out ideas, drawing up enemies, the corrupted worlds, how things would work with one another. The scope kept creeping. Every new week, a new enemy, a cool effect, a new area, a town, a mermaid. That was also a leak that was in the basement of a dungeon. I'm getting ahead of myself. Gumball bats, a tree that did the hokey pokey. But the icing on the cake was that I added a proper boss. And I named him, and I really outdid myself on this. His name, the Berry Boss. a four-headed great boss with a blue chain that had enough frames of animation to make even the most experienced animators say, dude, that's too many frames. Also, get out of my house. Perhaps out of stubbornness for that one level feel, which was my original design concept for the game, or maybe not wanting to get rid of what I already had, I decided to turn the adventures of Captain Carrot officially into a metrovania. I know. I felt like any indie game developer kind of goes through that metrovania stage, and I say sorts. It was a metrovania of sorts. Because I didn't like the idea of it all being inside of a spaceship or a castle or some claustrophobic setting. So instead I had open fields and temples where the player could gain a new ability, a new form, and be able to unlock new areas, all the while functioning in the same level. I really felt I was leaning into the right direction for the game, but when I actually started to play the game, and what I really made was just a buggy walking simulator. I think the cracks of the game really started to present themselves more and more once the second month rolled around and I shared the builds again. And the game was a mess, and the chat agreed. For those brave few who were exposed to that build of Captain Carrot, were subjected to the horrors of empty levels, endless backtracking, and every boss encountered resembled Dark Souls unintentionally. You see, one of the continual issues with my chosen engine was that it would only download if it was downloaded to a certain area in a certain way, and sometimes requiring like almost third-party software to make it open up properly. So in order to play it, the build, of course, that I sent out, you'd have to load it and then manually move the project to a secondary project thing and making sure there were secondary files in there, and it had to be in the exact same file folder for it to even work on your PC. I think the engine fixed this, but at the time it was hard for anyone to really replay or retest the game. I think I speak for everyone when I said no one has time for that. No one wants to spend 40 minutes to open up your game. So no one could play the game, and even the few that could, well, I'm sorry, and I would never ask you to replay that version ever again. And this is when my chat sat me down and tried to have an intervention with me at this early stage. It was maybe time for me to break up with Pixel Game Maker MV. It was becoming a toxic relationship. I was spending hours rebuilding more optimized systems inside the game where only a few could actually play it, but you know how relationships are. At first my replies were, but she said she'd change. Next update, you'll see. There'll be an updated exporter, maybe a web build option. We've already spent so much time on this relationship, I can't just walk away. Cut to me a couple months later, when only a handful of people were playing the game, and it seemed I was making a project for just myself. Maybe this is just my punishment for not knowing how to do proper coding. Maybe the real web build is the friends we made along the way. And it hurts to work so hard on a game that not a lot of people could play. All the optimizing, all the work, all the effort, all the sleepless nights for a game that no one could really enjoy. It was at this time I think I entered the Dark Vault stage. I was wearing all black, rocking that emo haircut, and just chilling to Kids Pop. Kids Pop? No, I mean, I was listening to... What's a cool band? Over 3 billion results found. Okay. So I kept working on my game inside of Pixel Game Maker MV, optimizing and building for only 1 in 10 people to actually play it. I was being stubborn. I was being silly. I needed to leave that toxic relationship, but who could love a vault with emo hair? So this kept up for about a month. All-nighter after all-nighter, week after week. I was always sick and working double time to fix things that I built a week before. Over and over, I was working overtime to keep the project at least playable in its current state, and playable to what? A handful of people? And this kept going on and on and on until I made such a huge mistake. During one of those all-nighters, I thought I was resizing the camera resolution for the main menu, but I accidentally resized the core resolution. the whole game, turning the whole project size, that whole giant level with all its different sections and all that, into the size of the camera. It took me a couple of moments to figure out what actually happened. Watching Captain Carrot fall into the void over and over and over, searching for a platform that was no longer there. Before I noticed what I did, it auto-saved over the working build and the game engine crashed. I desperately tried to reload it, but everything was corrupted and the engine would just crash again. I tried reopening it again and again. I tried reloading the game, reloading the engine. And as many new game developers start out, I had absolutely no concept of version control. So when it autosaved, it actually autosaved over the only remnants of the game I had. Everything was gone. I just stared at the screen. It was 4:03 a.m. and I was still slowly realizing just what happened. Weeks of all-nighters, months of work, fighting with the engine, all gone. Everything was just gone. I went through all the stages when one loses a loved one. Denial. I'm being silly. It's not gone. It's fine. This is fine. Anger. What a horrible engine. How could you do this? Do you know what? If I accidentally shoved the engine on the street in Canada, I wouldn't even say I'm sorry. That's right. Bargaining. Please, please. If there's still a build of this somewhere, I swear, I'll scale back. I'll scale it back. Please, just don't tell me that huge chunk of my life is gone. And depression. This is what happens when you turn your back on RPG Maker. Oh, my sweet, sweet RPG Maker. Maybe she'll take me back. Maybe I'm silly for wanting to even make a game. What a waste of a life. To acceptance. Maybe it's better that it's over. Yes, this is okay. I've put so much time into this game that doesn't even exist anymore. Maybe this is a sign. Maybe I should stop making video games or stop working on Captain Carrot or even stop streaming. But like I said, we think such silly things when we're younger, and I was listening to a lot of My Chemical Romance. And I was being silly. I know I was. And thankfully, chat was there to snap me back to normal. When I was at my lowest, they were there to help me back up. And together we buried the Captain Carrot build and erased all talk of this. I mean, except for, well, not right now. Technically, I'm talking. Okay, well, moving on. We went back to Captain Carrot in its roots before the Metrovania. And after I was done mourning the loss, Chad told me, hey, buddy, don't be so glum. Not all is lost. You still have all the sprites. I think it's time for you to try and find your soulmate again. Time to get back into the dating scene. So I put on my old dancing shoes, cut off my emo bangs, and allowed the chat to set me up on a few dates. Oh my god, was I going on some weird dates. Just want to say thank you very much everyone who's just been watching these videos, sharing them. Your support really keeps these videos going. This video took a little longer than usual, as some of you guys have probably noticed. That's because this huge chunk of Captain Carrot was lost. A lot of the clips and the VODs and all that were hard to find because I did do most of the game dev off the stream. So Thank you so much for Bunny Stick for basically stitching together these assets to make this video a possibility. Also want to say a great thank you for our very, very talented guest voice actors, to the one and only MarKellZ, to 8-Bit Val, and of course AngelsDidWeep, giving their best White Vault impersonation I have ever heard. So 10 out of 10. Composey, thank you so much for your lovely melody again. A huge thank you to the lovely Patreons. Bumper sticker to MacDub, Star Princess, Huge Steve, Matzi Max, and to Coramide. Thank you very much for all your love and support of the Patrons. Little side note about the Patrons, we're actually working on a little puzzle platformer that's going to be just for the Patrons. We're making an asset pack. And then instead of just shooting out that asset pack, patrons will be making their own little versions of the puzzler. I'll be performing them. It'll be this cool little thing we're working on together. So if you guys want to get in on that and support the channel, support the stream, there'll be a link to the Patreon below. If not, just watching the videos really mean a lot. I also want to say thank you very much to all you lovely, lovely supporters that backed the Kickstarter. We hit 100%. So now I guess it's time for us to make the world a little bit more carrot-y. And just want to say thank you very much for the Discord community and all their fan art, which should be scrolling across the screen. And yeah, thank you very much. Love you, love you, love you. That's the end of the video. I don't have a thing yet at the end of and we're done with the video, but we're working on it. If you have a suggestion, just I guess drop a comment. Until now, it's gonna be beep 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 boo, end of the video.